the article that is a stretch. Headline from the New York Post: How Human Evolution Was Shaped by Pride, Guilt, and Gossip.
Really?
Yeah. This would be the scientific method on full display for you right here. So,
is it good when they've lost me already in the first line?
Well, how do pride, guilt, gossip? What dig did they go? We found the gossip bone of a Neanderthal. What is this? This is just nothing but fiction, is all this is, in a desperate attempt to deny that there is a creator. This is a major American newspaper. Early man, this is the opening line. Early man was a total mean girl. Oh, I see. So,
look at that. We've even got a way to cross genders there. That's pretty good.
Gossipy, cliquey, exclusionary. Actually, that's, you know what? I think that's too gender specific, actually. I think they violated one of their own
should be a lawsuit somewhere.
Principles here. These are some of the traits our human ancestors developed to thrive over the last 6 million years, argues psychology professor William von Hippel. Is he still doing those Charmin commercials?
That's a made-up name, and that's Mr. Whipple. No,
in his new book, The Social Leap. So this fellow is going to tell us, with no evidence, with no ability to have a recording, a video, not a single YouTube video from 6 million years ago. Don't know if you know that. None. In fact, it's interesting that we don't have writing beyond about 5,000 years.
They all went away when the meteor hit.
Nothing is more important to us than our social connections. Nothing was more critical for our ancestors' survival and reproduction. Von Hippel then writes a series of social leaps, movements forward in the way we connect with our fellow man. Made our brains bigger, our connections stronger, and our longtime survival certain.
I don't know.
There's no mechanism for this. It's all machinations. That's all it is. Fanciful thinking. The Australopithecus figured out quickly, really, that aiming projectiles at saber-toothed tigers alone was not effective. You got video? You got some sort of recording of that?
For cartoon drawings. Sorry.
So they began to band together, creating collective stone-throwing groups. That's an interesting thought, but it hardly qualifies as an idea, let alone a hypothesis. This brought about the most important psychological change that enabled us to thrive. It did? When? What year? Which person? How did that get passed along? Rather than just survive, the capacity and desire to work together.
Really?
The minute early man learned to band together, he also acquired a new weapon, ostracism. If you wanted to be invited to the lion-eating party, you better play by the lion-killing rules. This fellow has a diploma hanging on his wall. He's writing a book, peer-reviewed journals. On and on this article goes, how we basically evolved emotions. Absolutely.
They're serious?
Sad is what it is. Sad. It's just sad. This is a desperate attempt to suppress the truth and unrighteousness. The creation is so clear in that it points to a creator that only the fool says, nah, why? So they can go on sinning. Period. That's what NASA is all about. You saw that they landed on the moon. InSight lander lands on, or not the moon, on Mars, rather.
Been there, done that.
But why are they doing this? We don't have anything don't we have diseases we could find the cure for? Couldn't you put some of that brain power into doing things that actually help us, here, who actually exist? Well, of course, assuming we're not just a big giant stream or a computer program simulation. Why don't they help here? Here's why. InSight's 2-year mission will be to study the deep interior of Mars, to learn how all celestial bodies with rocky surfaces, including Earth and the moon, formed. There it is. This is what NASA has been about now for decades. We have got to figure out, we've got to find some place, somewhere, that evolution can happen. We need that evidence. Because if we can find in this hospitable climate of Mars some forms of life, we can say, see, it's not sophisticated, but that's how we started too. No, it doesn't prove that at all. But this is a desperate grab to try to suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Here's another evolutionary story. This from the dailymail.co.uk. That's in England. The Steckel and Thaler, scientists who headed up a study, concluded that 90% of all animal species alive today come from parents that all began giving birth at roughly the same time, less than 250,000 years ago. You mean we might have all come from the same ancestor? Nah, we were told that's too stupid because that's exactly what Genesis teaches. That's just a dumb book. Really? And what do you know? More and more they're saying, it looks like we came from one ancestor. Now they're off on timing, but please note this next sentence, which just is always overlooked. This discovery, this is from Rockefeller University, by the way, throws into doubt the patterns of human evolution. It throws it into doubt. And yet, how is it taught as if it is fact? They're adamant about it. This is absolutely the way it happened. You can believe, okay, we're still tweaking some things. They're not tweaking stuff. They are writing this nonsense on the fly, and there is no reason for us to have to jerry-rig Genesis to accommodate these wacky thoughts. It's wacky. It's bizarre land. Just saw a Q&A with John MacArthur. Somebody asked him the Matt Walsh question. The Matt Walsh question was, hey, if there was not the sun, the moon, and the stars to mark a day, the revolution of the earth one time that marks the day, that was day 4. So maybe days 1, 2, and 3 could have been billions of years old. It's nonsense. And it's a really sad attempt to try to undermine what the Bible clearly teaches about origins. First of all, let's go now to FLA. This is. I think we maybe talked about this.
VH1?
NASA scientists, they're traveling to Mars so that they can prove that evolution could actually happen, so that they can undermine the authority of the Bible. NASA scientist says robotic aliens could have already visited Earth. Do we have any proof for that, sir? No, actually, we don't. He suggested aliens may have already visited Earth, but evaded detection due to their appearances being vastly different from human expectations. All right, you keep working on that theory, and as soon as you get a scrap of evidence for that, you let us know. You see, nobody saw that person there, but they could have been there. Well,
maybe they're made of dark matter.
It's possible. Considers the possibility that aliens could be so far developed, humans may not even be able to comprehend their technology. This really is rich to me. A lot of people don't seem to have difficulty thinking that our universe is actually controlled by a great big computer. You're not even real. You are a pixel in somebody's big screen, and they're running a giant simulated game, and you're in it. They can believe that about somebody who can control the gazillions of details that are happening right that second. There's a gazillion. I suppose there's a finite number to it, but there's so many things that are being organized right now. And they would say, a computer could handle that, but God, oh, you silly Christians, you.